This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Gonna let it shine, shine. You know you wanna shine.
Can't sing and clap at the same time? We'll do one or the other then. Here we go. Let's take it from the top. This little light of mine. Let me hear you.
I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, shine.
You know you wanna.
Shine, shine, get up and let it shine. Shine, shine, everybody. Shine, 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 got to let it shine. Shine, shine, come on, come on, come on, come on now. Shine, shine, woo, you wanna. Shine, shine, come on, you know you wanna.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. Good morning. Say hi to each other. Hello.
I'm gonna put it down just a little bit. I even have heels on and I gotta stand on my tippy toes. That's all right. Big things come in little packages, right? Hi, y'all. Oh, I love everybody. Huggy. We got such a wonderful community here. This is a wonderful Sunday. We are so glad, so proud that you chose to spend your time with us instead of going right down the street to the beach today. That was great. My name is Debbie Hoffman, and I tell you what, I am a proud member of your Board of Trustees. We had our board retreat yesterday. You guys are in for a treat with what's happening at our community and our center. I tell you, I cannot wait. It's like we're bubbling up. And this is one of the ways that I give back in spiritual service, to my community for all the wonderful things, all the amazing things that's happened in my life because of these teachings. And I know there's a lot of you out there too that have that same thing going on in your life. I thought it was always kind of an interesting thing that, you know, back in the day when you wanted to spread the word about a faith, you either had to go knock on doors or ride a bicycle with a tie on or shake a tambourine at the airport. You know how we spread the word, how people are finding us? The internet. Guys, I am so proud. Tracy McKenna is doing a fantastic job of getting the word out. Yes, she deserves it, believe me. So, I Googled us, right? You know how many reviews we have? It's close. We have 7. And I know there's more people in here that belong to our community that has made a big difference. So if you wouldn't mind, get out there, have the 5-year-old granddaughter or grandson show you how to do this, and write a little review for us. I just absolutely love it. And if you're here for the first time, we have a gift for you. We are so excited that you're here with us. Please raise your hand. We have a little green bag. One of our ushers will bring it to you. And if you're a little nervous or shy, oh, there we go. Hi, welcome. A couple of people over there. Yay! There we are. You don't have to dance or anything. Of course, we do. If you're shy, we also have some at the front counter. We have the most amazing people at that front counter smiling and waiting for you to come and say hi. And welcome to all our Dreamer streamers. We stream around the world. Dr. Mora's message is going around the world. So when you're on vacation, you have no excuses now. You get to just tune in. And thank you guys for joining us, too. And I tell you, one of the things I love about the internet is I get this little message on Facebook from Tracy that says who's going to be singing. I love our music ministry, and I was so excited to see Jamie's name pop up on there. He is just an amazing, amazing musician. He's going to share, hold on, he's going to share some good stuff with you. Jamie, all yours.
Jamie Lula. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
You sure look pretty today.
So do you.
Thank you. I feel pretty today. Yeah, let's not go down that road.
Okay, let's.
Sometimes I'm unaware of why I choose songs, but obviously someone needs to hear this today, including myself, maybe myself more than anybody. Grateful for your tenderness when life can feel unkind. Grateful for the way you see when I am stuck inside my mind. Grateful for your courage to hold your steady ground. I'm grateful for compassion when mine cannot be found. Oh, compassion when broken hearts bleed. Sweet compassion when my soul's in need. And enemies inside of me. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Oh, oh, oh. Grateful for your thoughtful words when emptiness abounds. Grateful when you take my hand and you turn my head around. Grateful for the healing and warmth of your compassion to touch a deeper place. Oh, compassion when broken hearts bleed. Sweet compassion when my soul's in need. I find compassion for friends and enemies inside of me. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Oh, yeah, make me, mold me, shape me, shift me to all that I can be, that I may express your endless compassion. It's what I'm here to be. Oh, 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 oh. Compassion when broken hearts bleed. Sweet, sweet, sweet compassion when my soul's in need. I find compassion for friends and enemies inside of me. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Oh, 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 compassion when broken hearts bleed. Sweet, 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 sweet compassion when my soul's in need. I find compassion for friends and the enemies deep inside of me. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Oh,
Jamie Lula.
Spectacular musicians here. Jamie, Lulu, thank you. Thank you, beautiful. Andy, Bruce, and Oliver. Every Sunday, it's incredible. Thank you. So today, Dr. Moira's talk is prayer and response. So as I was thinking about this, the image that kept coming back to me was of this framed photo I kept on my desk at work. And at times when the workload seemed tremendous, I was able to look at it and it was inspirational. It was titled Persistence, and it was an aerial view of those towers, mittens, spires in that sacred site of the Navajo Nation, Monument Valley, part of the Four Corners area of Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico. So I could feel myself transported to that place, and somehow looking at what nature had carved, it felt like my workload was dwarfed in comparison. So it was a great reminder of what consistent effort can do. So persistence is something that can help us in our prayer practice as well. Raymond Charles Barker was a person who was a contemporary of Ernest Holmes. He spoke at Lincoln Center in New York City, and at that time he attracted thousands. So in his book, Treat Yourself to Life, he says, if you believe it will take a long time to create something, you agree to that time frame. It's not that life will take that long to produce what you want. It's that you have consciously decided it will take that long. And Dr. Holmes, in our lovely text, The Science of Mind, is saying on page 99 that if our consciousness is functioning only in a future state, we automatically delay right action. And on page 100, he says the first treatment should be expected to be sufficient. But if the demonstration doesn't occur in that time frame, it doesn't necessarily mean that the answer is no. We just need to treat until demonstration. And what is a demonstration? It's when we realize the truth of any situation. So the question is, how can we get to that place? So Raymond Charles Barker says, in our treatment, we need to begin in a state of conscious love. And when we receive a feeling of being connected to everything, that is when our thought is infused with divine power. So at that time, we can declare the truth, the highest good about any particular situation. And we can know that that situation may be a fact at this time, but that it is subject to change. So we can commit it to divine timing, divine purpose, divine power, and we can know that our treatment is done when we feel a sense of quiet assurance, when we feel a sense that all is well, when we feel a deep sense of relief. So we can support our treatment with affirmations, and what we may see is that the result comes one step at a time, and that is because our consciousness is moving one step at a time, ever closer to that goal. So that is where persistence is just as important in spiritual work as it is in any other field. We have to give ourselves time and patience to grow in spirit. And eventually, what we will have whittled will be a masterpiece with this tool we call treatment, just as nature did in Monument Valley. So please repeat after me. My thoughts have power due to the divine within. My desires are divinely inspired. And I know I can treat until demonstration. So it is.
Get up and sing.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Oh, there's lyrics up there. There you have it. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful.
Health.
Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health.
Wealth.
Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Abundant, abundant, abundant wealth. Abundant, abundant, abundant.
Thank you for my life.
Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful life. My beautiful, my beautiful, my beautiful life. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This holy, this holy, this holy day. This holy, this holy, this holy day. And thank you for this day. And thank you for this day.
One more.
And thank you for this day.
Thank you, Jamie.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since I decided to play act as a teen, so I started to miss it a little bit, so I decided to play act as a teen again for you today. So, visioning on Monday nights will resume on September 17th at 6 p.m. The Noble Fellowship Group meets on Monday, September 24th at 7 p.m. The Labyrinth Walk is Thursday, September 20th at 5 p.m. in Richelieu Hall. And we have someone to come up and talk about it. Her name is Kathy Wolfram, so please clap, clap.
Out of curiosity, how many of you have come on a Thursday night and walked the labyrinth? Yay! Well, I would like to personally invite you to come and join us. Although this may be our third Thursday of the month that we walk, so it'd kind of be celebrating the end of the Thursday walkings, and I believe we're going to be changing to a Friday night. But the labyrinth is open from 5 to 7:30. You can come in at any time and have your own journey, and it's very similar to the twists and turns of life, and it's a great tool for contemplation and walking meditation. But also at 6 o'clock, I facilitate a guided visualization meditation where I teach you to shed the stressors of your day, to learn how to ground, how to run the energy through your body, ignite your chakras, and really get you into a balanced state so that when you step onto the labyrinth, you're even that much more receiving of all of the divine good that's available to you. And when we do it together as a group, both the meditation and the labyrinth walk, it heightens the energy and the experience for everyone. So I would love for you to join me and Jane and come and walk with us and find your own center while you're doing it. Thank you.
Thank you. That sounds fantastic. And in that same vein, we have Science of Mind classes resuming with Dr. Moira's class on Wednesday evening, September 29th at 7 p.m. She is teaching The Power of Your Word. Reverend Mary will be teaching on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m., starting Saturday, September 22nd, and she is teaching the metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. Drumming Circle is Sunday, September 23rd at 12:30 p.m. in the Montessori Room. The Garden Club Work Day is Saturday, September 29th at 8 a.m. If you love to garden, please join the group as they spruce up our gardens and make this place even more green and lovely and beautiful. Save the date for Divine Dining, September 29th, for tacos, tequila, team play, and more. Bidding for this event runs through Sunday, September 23rd at 12:30 p.m. sharp, and you can put your bid in the foyer. Lake Arrowhead applications are now out. It will be May 24th through the 27th, 2019. If you start the payment plan now, you can pay it off over 8 months. Applications are available at the front desk. We always have practitioners on duty. Look for them in the rear of the sanctuary rather than in the foyer. We also offer prayer circle after both services. If you'd like to join the circle, please come to the grand piano after service. Please remain seated for the meditation song.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying.
Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
And so, beloved presence, I am one with this moment now, wherein I can be consciously conscious. And in conscious consciousness, allow myself the opportunity to know the truth of being in a way that transforms and changes my life however I choose to change it. Right here and right now, I am knowing that I am indeed all that I am created to be. I'm not just a physical form. I'm not just a human mind. I am also, and much more so, that which is faceless and formless, that which is undifferentiated divine stuff, that which is infinite conscious being, but now choosing to be that awake and alert, and realizing that it is in this recognition that all power resides. For when I am consciously conscious and I move upon a thought along a definite line of thinking, that is realized. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity to be my full self, my whole self, my infinite intelligent self, so that I can mend and fix and heal whatever I seem to think requires it within myself, around myself, and be then in expression much more fully all that I am, which is a blessing, and that which always supports and advances life, that which is always in the capacity of service, serving the highest and most wondrous unfolding good in myself and in all life besides. I know that is why I am. I know that is what I have chosen, and I know that is why I am here, to be all that I can be, that is unifying, harmonizing, integrating, and making all things one, coming into that awareness that life is good. Life is very good. And the way I think and feel and act into it attests to that truth that sets me free, or stops it and blocks it from being all that it can be. And so I'm grateful, I'm thankful for every quiet moment, for every still moment, for every conscious moment that I entertain throughout all of my moments. And I know that those moments are increasing, and so is my good. So in this state of gratitude, in the state of that sovereignty that comes only from being one with Source, I send forth the blessing that spirit is, that good is, that love is, and I know it makes the difference. And so I know that all of life now is expanded because of what I know, what I declare, and what I desire. That all may be one, that unity may occur, that harmony is a given, and that peace in our day is very possible with each individualized expression of Spirit knowing it. For all my blessings and all of my graces, I'm grateful. And in blessing and in gratitude and in thanksgiving, I allow myself to be that conduit of that blessing, knowing it is responded to immediately as I say. And so it is.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
The grid. In hidden places. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the sanctuary. Here we are continuing this wonderful month of September, where we are allowing ourselves to really be focused on and open and receptive to what it is to understand what prayerfulness is all about. And all it is your life living itself, and my life living itself, and all life living itself in a state of consciousness. That's all prayerfulness is. It is a state of consciousness. It is a state of open receptivity to what can happen when I am consciously conscious through the way I use my thought system, the way I use my mind. And this is very well worthwhile knowing. And so Ernest Holmes will always point out in all of his writings that the most awesome and most potent and most powerful word is the word or the thought or the idea that is filled with conviction, where conviction is behind it, as he likes to say. And as they all do, all the great thinkers and discoverers will say the very same thing, that you being present in your mind to what's going on in your mind is going to make or break your life sometimes. And hopefully all of the time we want it to be expanding our lives and having us to realize more and more fully what it is to be a self, an individualized expression of the one self. And so Ernest Holmes would say that when we are in a state of prayerfulness, which is a state of consciousness, it's not necessarily rattling off prayers, it's not necessarily the saying of words. It's a state of consciousness. Prayerfulness is a state of conscious consciousness where I am open and aligned with greater and more and wondrous things of the spirit of life. So it's to be in understanding that I am more than a human being, I am more than a form. I am indeed, first and foremostly, spirit, having an experience in form. That's what I am first and foremostly. I am spirit. I am that which is unformed, allowing itself to have an experience of form. And the way Neville puts it is, and I love all of his books, Neville, great metaphysician. Ernest Holmes really admired Neville too. They all admired each other at that time. And Neville says that what we are in truth is indeed infinite consciousness and infinite awareness of being. That's what we are. We are conscious awareness of being, conscious awareness of being, and being unconditioned at that. We are unconditioned, conscious awareness of being. And then this conscious awareness of being that you are and I am allow the individual expression to become form, to become conditioned in the form of something or another. So Neville would say we are unconscious awareness of being with the ability through imagination to become conditioned by creating something. And the way we create something is through an imagination. And all he's saying there is, look, wake up and understand how important the power of imagination is. Because it's through your imagination, and it's through my imagination and all imagination, that anything gets formed. It is through imagination that the process of creation begins. And so consequently, me, you, as unconditioned and unconditional, infinite, cosmic consciousness, we're capable of conditioning that unconditioned stuff, infinite stuff, into an experience as form through our imagination. So what you're imagining is creating. It always is. What you are imagining is creating. It always is. And that is why Einstein said at the end of his life, and I'm sure before it, that everything boils down to imagination, and that imagination is the most important thing of all. Imagination. So the question is, what are you and I imagining in our lives to create the lives that we're living? What's been going on in our imagineering minds to be creating all that we are experiencing? Because we're experiencing a lot of all kinds of things, good and not so good, and so on. Well, it's all thanks to our use of imagination. And what is imagination but a thought process, isn't it? And Ernest Holmes again would say that what we do is we think along a particular line of reasoning, and as we think along a line of particular reasoning, we're producing a particular result that has a specialized outcome. So all the time you think your just mind is wandering all over the place, doing nothing, so to speak. It's never not doing nothing. It's always doing something. It's creating something. It's forming something. It's realizing something. It's building something. And it's building you up to have an experience of something, whatever that something is. And whether it's affirmative or whether it's negative will depend on what it is you have been thinking and I have been thinking. So today, I think what we're asked to do is to get deeply under our hats, so to speak, the significance, the potency, and the power of imagination. Because through your imagination, you're creating everything in your life, and therefore, consequently, through the power of your imagination, you can create any great good you so desire. Any great good you so desire. So how do you show up in conscious awareness of some good that you wish to realize? Well, Ernest Holmes would say that the only way to show up is to show up naturally and calmly and with a sense of expectancy of good, and to understand there's no efforting in it at all. When we talk about spiritual mind treatment, it's the way, it's the specific way that we sometimes lean into our imagination, think into our imagination, so that we deliberately want something to happen as a result of that. That's what spiritual mind treatment is. It's creating a state to begin with of open receptivity to some good that wants to express itself through you and through me. Now he says, above all else, please do not think that you are putting any power into your word, into your treatment, into your prayerfulness. You're not putting any power into it at all. You can't. It's not your job to do that. The power, he says, is already there. You're in the power already. The power is everywhere present. And all you're doing is molding it and forming it and imagining and thinking into it something that's going to create an experience for you. That's all you're doing. But he says, do that calmly and with expectancy of some great good happening, he said. And don't force anything and don't use your will. That's not what that prayerfulness is about. It's simply about you and me being able to allow ourselves to relax enough. And I mean, they all say the same, not only Ernest Holmes, but any of the metaphysicians will tell you that when you're anxious and when you're fearful and when you're distraught, you're blocking and stopping your ability to treat yourself for any kind of good, because your fear and your anxiety and that clenchedness is blocking all the energy and nothing can flow through. So that's why you and I have to somehow, before we really get down to work and want to manifest some great good thing that we're prompted to manifest, we have to calm ourselves. We have to relax ourselves. We have to quieten ourselves. Now, do whatever that takes. The process of your prayerfulness could take a long time some days when you're anxious. It may mean that some of us might have to make a cup of tea, or some of us might have to dig in the garden for a minute or two, or listen to some music, or whatever it is that relaxes us, that is good and good for us, that is. Whatever relaxes us, that's good and good for us. So we want to get into that state so that we're free-flowing, we're creating the vortex of energy and allowing something to come into it that way, you see. So that's why it's supposed to be natural, and it's not supposed to be efforting, and it's not supposed to be a struggling thing. It's not supposed to be it's just an open receptivity to allowing your imagination to flow freely on the lines of that good which you desire to realize. So it's thinking about that good, it's putting yourself into that state of how you'd feel if that good were already in place. It's owning it, it's becoming one with it, it's moving into the picture of it in your mind, settling down at it, making yourself comfortable in it, and knowing, yeah, of course this is for me. Of course, yes, indeed. Life wants me to experience this. Life wants me to experience it, because if it didn't, it wouldn't be in my mind. It wouldn't be nudging me. It wouldn't be elbowing me. It wouldn't be slapping me up the side of the head. Come on, get it together. Do this thing. You can. You want it. Do it. Be it. Let it happen. Create the space for it. And you see, the creating of the space is so essential to this process. And you and I, the busy lives we live and the way we stuff everything everywhere where there's no space at all, we're not creating much space around us, far less the space in our minds. Because here we are. I mean, if we're doing this all the time, we're not creating a space in our minds to receive anything. We just want to receive what's on the gadgets, you know, that's outside of ourselves. But prayerfulness and spiritual mind treatment is that all it is making yourself available, showing up empty, showing up with the vessel of your confidence and your faith, and allowing that to be the thing that it gets filled up with the good that you desire as you imagine that, not as something that is beyond you, but that is very much wanting to be your experience. It wants to be your experience, this good that you desire. And you have all of life backing it up. You have all of cosmic consciousness backing that up, wanting you to be free enough, open enough, receptive enough for you to experience this. And that's what everybody will say. Now, Ernest Holmes also says, be sure that when you're doing a spiritual mind treatment, and doing means simply being available to the good that you desire. It's not doing anything except showing up in availability and going into that state of excitement and knowing, oh gosh, this is great. I'm now about to, allow myself to create this opportunity for myself to experience this good by simply knowing the good is already in place. And it is my faith and conviction that sets it free, because the greatest prayer, again, he says, is the prayer that is backed up by deep conviction, absolute faith and conviction. And as you know, faith is dealing with not ordinary everyday stuff. Faith has to deal with knowing something, feeling something, believing something, saying yes to something, claiming something when there's not a shred of evidence anywhere to back you up that would let you know or think or feel that this is going to happen. Quite the contrary. When all the evidence says, no, I don't think so. That's what faith is. That you bypass all of that and you have absolute certainty. Why? Because you know it's not you that is doing this. All you're doing is creating the space for this to happen. It's a natural thing. You're only creating a space. You're allowing yourself to allow it out of you, freeing yourself to allow it out of you, because the good is already within you. That's the only place good ever is. It's the kingdom within, and all of its treasure and all of its good available to you. And that's why we say healing is the revealing of the health that's already present. That's all it is. You just got to let it out. And remember, it's not getting it in, it's never getting it in. You see, cosmos works differently than that. It always has to do with letting it out, letting it out, letting it out, freeing it, freeing it, freeing it, you know. And we do that through the power of the imagination. And he says, when you treat in calmness, in quiet expectancy, treat with faith, treat knowing that your good is there for you and you're supposed to have it, as Emma Curtis Hopkins would say. Treat knowing that, of course, you may experience this, and that life wants you to experience this. Treat knowing that life is on your side, is backing you up, and has your back, in fact, and wants this for you more than you even wanted for yourself. So get into that state of open confidence and receptivity to this good that you desire. But you have to be with it, sit with it, feel it. It's not about saying, it's not about doing, it's about feeling it, 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 until it saturates your whole self with a pulsation and a vibration of knowing it, knowing it, knowing it. Of course it is so. That's what we have to do. And he says, you repeat your treatment daily until your treatment is realized. Now, when he says repeat it, he means support the original treatment. Support it, keep knowing it, keep knowing it. He said that might take you 5 minutes. And then he says, well, it might take you 5 hours. And then he says, well, it might take you 5 weeks. And then he says, and it might take you 5 years. That's what he says in the textbook. But he says, nevertheless, you keep using the law until you prove the law. You keep using and believing in the law until you prove the law. Prove me herewith. Prove me, prove me, prove me. And he said, be very careful when you're in treatment that you complete the treatment, that you come to completion, that you come to that moment when you feel it is accomplished, it is done, I know it. And then he says, get up and go about your business and don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. And if some little gnawing worry should happen, go back into knowing what you knew when you first treated. Go back into establishing the truth again. This is not about me. This is not what I have to do. And he says, above all else, do not take responsibility for you having to do it. Do not take responsibility for the healing, for the prosperity, for the whatever. It's not your responsibility at all. The only thing you have to do is know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Know it, feel it, think it, believe it, claim it, own it, and so on. That's all you have to keep doing. And that, he wants us to know, is more of a feeling than a saying. More of a feeling than a saying. And so you've got to, and I have got to give myself whatever time it takes until it pours through the marrow of my bones, and it pours through all that I am, visible and invisible, and I become one pulsating energy that is saying yes, and yes, and yes. It is so, it is so, it is so. Now, if you start doubting yourself, if you start second-guessing yourself, if you start questioning yourself, if you start going into the egoic thing of, maybe I'm not ready, maybe I'm not worthy, maybe I'm not whatever, forget about it. You're going to start all over again. Start from the very beginning. Have to stop doing that. Your personality should have nothing to do with your treatment work. Your ego should have nothing to do with your treatment work. Your humanity should have nothing to do with your treatment work. It's consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Everything is done at the level of consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Power, invisible power, 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 power. Your consciousness and its power is like the power of wind. You never see wind, but by Jiminy Crickets, you feel the result of wind. Absolutely you do. Sometimes it's beautiful. It's a balmy, caressing breeze sitting high up in a mountain, a meadow, and it's just engulfing you, enfolding you, caressing you, hugging you, and it's yummy and lovely. On the other hand, you try out being on a storm in the sea, when the sea is raging and roaring and ranting and that wind is lashing the water up against you and stinging your skin. Whole different experience. Whole different experience. And your consciousness is the very same. It can lash you and bash you, or it can balmily and warmly caress you. And it's all down to your imagination. It's all down to your thought processing. It's all down to what's going on in your mind. And you alone are responsible for that. Darn it. Be nice to be able to pawn it off on someone else. But we can't. But that's the power of us. Why would we want to deny the power of us? Why would we not want to hold on to our empowerment and use our empowerment for upliftment and betterment and all of that? And you and I not only could create great good in our own lives and become all that we are splendidly made to be, that unified, love-filled, good-filled, knowledge-filled, wisdom-filled, grace-filled self. And simply by being that, there's nothing more for us to do. Just be that. And wherever we would be, it wouldn't matter if we never left our houses. We would be creating such beautiful light, iridescence, vibrations of energy going out into the world, cleansing and uplifting and unifying and calming. It would be stunning if we could see it. We can do that, and we can do more by simply consciously getting engaged and understanding that life is nothing more than this energy being in service, being in service, being in service. In service to what? Conserving unified energy. That's all. We're conservationists. We're the conservers of unified energy. That's all. And we don't even have to leave our house to do that. Engagement, 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 connection, connection, connection. I am very much in your life. You are very much in my life. I'm very much a part of your life. You're very much a part of my life. It matters to me. It affects me what's going on in your life. It affects you what's going on in my life too. Now, if I know this, if I know that I am this vortex of energy, and that vortex of energy is nothing more than a cosmic point of power, that life itself wants to express itself through, nothing got to do with you personally and your ego and your personality and all of that stuff. Everything to do with you is energy. Everything to do with you is light and power and all of this amazing, amazing, amazing stuff called divine stuff, called this unified field in which all of us are, and it's always a unified field. The unified field is never not unified, but you and I can be dissonant in it. You and I can be united in it, but nevertheless, I'm not going to affect the unified field that is the power that never changes. But your life and my life and all life as a result would be so much more wondrous if we could be a unified point of energy in the unified field of cosmic being. I mean, and that's who and what you are. Now, I'm not expecting us all to grasp this, overnight or to grasp it in one fell swoop. Individuals do from time to time. It's very rare. But every time we're exposed to it, we get to know it a little bit deeper. We get to agree with it a little bit more powerfully. We get to desire it a bit more fully, and we get a better sense of ourselves, actually. And so I know this is tremendously challenging to somebody who may have come in here, with terrific challenges in life, with all kinds of things that need mending, fixing, and healing, and so on. I understand that. But you're the very one that can just right here and right now begin with knowing, you know what? I know that's part of my life just now, but it's part of, and it's a part of that is transient. It's a part of that is passing. It's a part of that will not stick and stay. It will move out the way it moved in. And if I can just get myself together enough to know that I may be having hard times and I may be down on myself right now, because life is down on you only when you first have been down on yourself. But I can raise that energy now. I can bring that energy up now. I can know something different now. I can start using my imagination differently now. I can start thinking in a different way about myself right now. Forget about life and all the rest of it, just yourself. Start thinking differently about yourself just now, and let the hope that springs eternal within you grab you. Let it grab you. Allow yourself to lean into it and trust it enough to get enough movement to create a bit of a vortex there, a little vortex of energy growing so that it can spin and grow stronger and stronger and stronger. It can be done. People are doing it. Why not you? Why not me? It can be done. It's happening all of the time. So prayer has only got to do with you knowing that you are empowered and you can go and empower as a consequence of that. And that you could take care of anything that's going on in your life in such a way that when you move out of it and through it, you will be so much stronger, so much the better for having had the experience, and so much wiser. That's what we can all do for ourselves. Now the question is, will we? Will we? That's the question. Classes begin this week, and the classes are always a great place for us to be able to grow confidence in ourselves and realize our empowerment. The class that I'm teaching just so happens to be based that the power of your word is all to do with prayer. It's a whole thing on the science and the art of prayer. And then Reverend Mary is doing Metaphysical Bible, which is always a great, good class to take too. And get behind the words there too. Because words are important and we've got to know what's going on. So my dear ones, I have to leave you with this because time is of the essence, and time she go fly, as my hairdresser says. Just start believing firmly in the power and in the presence within you. And if you believe in the power and the presence within you, you'll start believing in yourself until you come into fully believing in yourself. And know yourself as that great, wonderful, good thing that all of life pranams to, bows to, and greets its own light within you. That's where you'll end up if you start believing in the power, in the presence, in that wonderful, amazing grace that you're filled with. Because you are. I mean, life is going to be what you imagine it to be. That has to be good news. You just have to put on your light of imagination and imagine all the great good things, and to become a spiritual Imagineer, because that's what you are anyway, so you may as well be that consciously. So get up, get out, and get at it. Know what you know, and know that what you know is the best and the good high thing for you and for everybody else too. Because right now, that's what the world needs us all to be. The world simply needs, what can you do for the world? Be the best of yourself. That's the best thing you can do for the world. Just be at your best. Be the best of yourself for the world. And that's going to help the world. And that's going to really and truly help bind up all the wounds that need to be bound up, but this time to heal them permanently and not have them reappearing. And so, my dear ones, the power is with you. The power is in you. The power is you. Please do say yes to it for the good of us all. And so it is. And so it is. So it is. Remember, Spirit is the actor, and you're simply the announcer of its good, of its word. So, do good announcing. And we have... Didn't happen last week, but this week.
I believe in prayer, and prayer works for me. One of the things that I understand, or try to understand, is that when I want something to happen, I want it to happen the way I want it to happen. I recently decided that the infirmity that I was experiencing was caused by some food that disagreed with me. So I quit eating the food. Then I discovered that I still had the thing that was bothering me. I was a bit angry because I did what I thought that I read was the problem. At some point, I decided that I needed prayer. All I can say is I wonder why it took me so long. There was a lot more to this situation than I'm sharing, but the prayer was the answer, and prayer is the answer.
Hey, how wonderful. Isn't that wonderful? I love to hear these sharings because it lets you know that because we're together as a community, this can happen. If we were not together as a community, people wouldn't be having these experiences. So thank you all for, supporting such a wonderful thing. And that's what this is about too, this little ceremony of blessing. This is when we bless the good that we have and we're able to give from the wonderful baskets left over to go out there and bless and do good elsewhere. So we're grateful for that opportunity. So let's be present to what we're doing, present to our gift as we say. Divine love consecrates my gift and goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Thank you.
Into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands I commit my soul. Into your hands I surrender. Into your hands, oh Lord. I don't know what the divine plan is. I can't make sense of what I can't see. Yet I know that it's in order beyond my wildest dreams. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands I commit my soul. Into your hands I surrender. Into your hands, oh Lord. Serenity is not the absence of life going on around me. It's the stillness I find at any moment, and the truth that sets me free. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Into your hands, I commit my spirit. Into your hands, I commit my soul. Into your hands, I surrender, I surrender. Into your hands, oh Lord. This is where y'all sing, come on. Into your hands, oh Lord. Words are simple, let me hear you sing. Into your hands, oh Lord. Into your hands, oh Lord. Let me hear you sing it out loud. Into your hands, oh Lord. From the inside out now. Into your hands, oh Lord. Into your hands, oh Lord. Oh, into your hands, oh Lord. Into your hands, oh Lord. One more time. Into your hands, oh Lord.
Jamie Lula!
The amazing Jamie, and guess what? You can take him home in the form of a CD when you're going home, and he'll be right out there. And that's a great way to support our singers' musical ministry. I mean, and it's a very important part of our life and living. So that'd be a lovely thing. And then you get to do all of that good stuff and get that energy going when you're in your car or wherever you are at home. And so I remember I used to do a workout session to one of our singers' CDs. And it was just so lively and great. So thank you for being here, and thank you for all your good deeds, your good thoughts, and your good feelings during the week. You're making the difference. Remember, lots of things going on, and they're all going on with you in mind. And if ever you've had a nudge to come to the labyrinth or the visioning or whatever it is, please give in to that impulse and do it. And the visioning on Monday night, of course, is not just for the centre. It's really the main thrust and emphasis is for a global peace and national peace and personal peace and peace and unity and harmony and all of that. So, my dear ones, have a great good week and know that you're blessed and be your prayerful selves. And as I say, we're very grateful to our music men, and we have, of course, Andy and Oliver holding the fort today, along with Jamie, and thank you so much. It's always so wonderful. And now we are going to have our prayer, and we're going to offer this prayer for all of those who are in dire need right now, and all of those wonderful, wonderful souls who are enduring such hardship because of all kinds of things going on in the world, in our own country, floods and all of that. However people are suffering, we're going to have them in mind, and we will hold them up and know for them that somehow or another great good comes out of all of this. And whatever way we're prompted to help, let's give in to that prompting and help in that way. So we're knowing for all people everywhere who are in sad circumstances, who are in terrible situations, that somehow or another they're going to be able to find the strength within themselves to reach into themselves and find that spirit within them that knows how to move them through that experience into a better experience. So this is what we're knowing. I know divine love enfolds me, divine light leads me, divine life lives in me, divine wisdom inspires me, divine compassion expresses through me, and divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life and expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep gratitude, I know for all life. There's only God. There's only God. There is only God, and especially by means of you. And so we're going to have our peace song now. And so be kind to yourself and each other, and let's know a different world.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as a giver, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment